Hello everyone and welcome to this session of programming with Java. In this session we are going to explore what do we mean by variables. Now variables are the name of the block of memory which holds some kind of data. So for example, here we have a block of memory which is holding a integer value of 20 and the name of that block of memory is age. So we will say that age is a variable which is holding an integer value of 20. Now variable can store different types of values. For example, it can store numerical values, it can store integer values, it can store text values, it can store Unicode values, or it can store sentences and like a string, etc. It can also hold arrays. So variables are very dynamic in nature and they can store different kinds of values in Java. Now let's see how do we create variables in Java. To create variables in Java, first we declare the type of that variable. So as we explained that variable can store different kinds of values like integer values, text values, etc. So every time we have to define a variable in Java, we first have to define its type. So we first write the name of the type of our variable followed by the name of our variable which we intend to give to the block of memory, followed by the equal sign which is known as assignment operator and which suggests that we are giving the value to the variable, and after it the value which actually is stored in this variable, followed by the semicolon sign. In Java, every statement is ended with the semicolon sign and it indicates that the statement is over. Now let's head over to Eclipse and see how this is done in detail. So suppose we wanted to create a variable which is going to hold a integer value. So first we will write the type of the data type, that is integer, and integer is represented by int keyword. So we will write int followed by the name of our variable which is age in our case, followed by the assignment operator or equal sign, and afterward the value. Let's say the age variable is going to store a value of 50. Let's say 50, and after that we will use the semicolon sign, as semicolon sign will indicate that the statement is over. And now if we want to print this line, so if you remember how we were used to print any statement in the Java, we used to write system, that is calling the system class dot out dot print ln followed by the name of the variable which we want to print. So we will write age here followed by the semicolon sign, and if we run this, then we will get 50 in the output because we have created a variable age in which we have stored a value 50 and we are printing this using the println method. Now we can also create multiple variables in a single line itself. So for example, if we want to create multiple variables, let's say a, b and c, then we will first write the name of the data type which the value is going to be stored, followed by the name of the different variable, let's say a, comma b, comma c, followed by the semicolon sign. So what this has done has created three different variables which is going to hold the integer type of value. So for example, now if we define the variable, let's say a has an integer value of 10 followed by the semicolon sign, p has the integer value of 20 and semicolon sign, and c has a value of 30 semicolon sign, and we print all of them by writing system.out.println followed by the name of the variable which is a here. And if we want to print all of them, just copy this line 3 times and if we just replace here a by b and c respectively, and each of these lines should have a semicolon sign, and now if we run it, then as you can see that we are getting 10, 20 and 30 in the output. We can also define the values of the variable within the variable declaration itself. So for example, if we remove this 3 statement line and we want to declare the values within the declaration itself, then we can do that by writing a equals 10 followed by the comma sign, b equals 20 followed by the comma sign, c equals 30. And now if we run this again, then we will get the same output because we have defined the values stored in these variable a, b and c within the declaration itself. Similarly, we can also define other data type. So for example, if we want to define a character data type, then we will use the respective keyword for the character data type, which is char, followed by the name of the variable in which our value is going to be stored, let's say x, and followed by the character value, let's say it is a in our case here. And now if we want to print this variable x, then we will write system dot out dot println, and within the brackets we will write x followed by the semicolon sign, and if we run it again, we get a as an output. So this is how we declare variables in Java. In the next session we will see other concepts of Java. Thank you.